Hey guys, what's going on? So after I got a lot of questions about my first video and I wasn't real happy about the quality that and how it came out, I am going to be redoing my how to make a Armasight Spark core mount. So let's go ahead and talk about the tools that you're going to need first. You're going to need two 7/16 wrenches. So here's one. I'm going to be using this side, and then here's the other. I'm going to be using this side right here. So two 7/16 wrenches. We have a 1/16 Allen key. We have a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver. And that's going to be the tools you need to make this mount. You might need a hacksaw to do the little modification I did here, but I'm not going to really go that much into it. But now let's talk about the pieces that you're going to need to make this mount. So the first thing you're going to need is this piece right here, which is the Dovetail to Weaver transfer piece, number 21 by, that's how it's listed on Armasight's website. And what this piece is, it gives you a rail mount. You just tighten down this little set screw, a rail mount for your night vision. Let's go ahead and take that off. So that's the first piece you're going to need. The next piece, which is going to be the UTG rail riser mount. It's kind of hard to see. It's this piece right here. This little L shape. It looks different when you buy it. It's going to have this whole piece right here is going to be continued right here. So as you can see right here, I cut out a notch so that way it sits closer to my helmet. It just gives me a little bit more adjustment. And as I said, you can just do this with the regular hacksaw. It takes no more than 10 minutes to do it. And then this is the riser mount, 3-slot high profile riser mount. Make sure you get the high profile. You might be able to get away with the, oh actually no, you'd have to get the high profile riser mount. That's what I used. You can see the serial number, all that other fancy stuff in the back of it. Saddle height is 1 inch. So that's everything for you. Can't really go much more into detail about that. Now all the screws that I used, the screws and the bolts are going to be these zinc plated machine screws, 1 1/4 by 1.5 inches. There's 5 of them in here. I don't think you're going to need more than 5. I didn't, so hopefully you didn't if you do this exactly how I did. Now the next piece you're going to need is this little 90-degree kind of piece. Usually you use them in shelving. You can go ahead and see if I can get this close enough to it. I don't think it's going to get that close, sadly. So what it says, I'll tell you what it says right here. It is 3/4 by 1/2 inch. So go to your local hardware store and tell them that you want a 3/4 by 1/2 inch 90-degree bridge, I guess you would call it. It should be in the hardware department, and it should be by the hinges. So yeah, you can buy this at the hardware department, or excuse me, in the hardware department at a hardware store. You can buy this on Amazon, where I got mine. This piece you could buy on Amazon or on Armasight's website, whatever suits you best. Now let's go on to the next piece that you're going to need, kind of the more main piece, and that is going to be the Wilcox AN PVS7 adapter. And what that does is it adds a beaver tail, or not beaver tail, it adds a dovetail to your bayonet style NVG mount, and I just use this and I put the screw, directly through this way. As you can see, there's a kind of a big gap and there's a square gap, so it gives you a little bit of play on how you want to set this up. And then I just have a washer. Don't know the size, I just had it laying around, sorry. You can find them at the hardware store right by the screws. And a nylon washer behind it. kind of just a rubber washer even, just so it doesn't scratch up the plastic on this, so it just lasts a little bit longer when I move it back and forth. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to build this. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do, and probably another tool I should have told you to do, but is a drill, and a drill bit size 1 1/4. And you're going to drill into the side of the UTG riser mount, which I'm going to get that out of the way because just too much glare. But you're going to drill into the riser mount right where the 90-degree elbow would sit. So I have it flush. So if I were going to do it on this side, I would have this piece right here flush like this. So it's flush with the front right here. You might have to file this down on the side just a little bit so it sits in there perfectly flat, I should say. So that's the first step. The second step is to get one of the machine screws out and a bolt and cut it down to size. Now you could probably cut it, obviously you're going to have a ruler and you'll be able to just mark it, but if you could see in here, the screw goes down. It does not go all the way through the riser mount. You could have it go all the way through if you really want to, but I'd try to do it as neatly as I could. And if you could see in there, let's see if I get something shiny. There we go. So you can see I cut the screw just enough so it goes right into the bolt. You don't have to have it perfect, but just as long as it clears the bolt all the way through. Now, once you have marked that and cut it, you can go ahead and put your nut inside there. Ha, giggity. But no, seriously, you can put the nut inside there and just screw it on the head with the bridge on there flush. So then you would have pretty much this piece right here. You'd have the 90 on the UTG riser mount screwed down. Next step is to grab your Wilcox adapter, put the and here's the length of the screws if you really want to know. Put the washer, put the screw in first, all the way through. I'll do this real quick even, so I could show you, which would be perfect. It always helps to have visual aids. Anyway, let's go ahead and kind of clean this up. So the screw is going to go all the way through this piece right here. You're going to have the rubber washer. You can pick that up at the plumbing department. It's going to go through. You're going to have your Wilcox, I was going to say MP7, PVS7 adapter, and then another nylon washer, a metal washer, and then two bolts, or two nuts. The reason you have two is so you can freely move this. It's okay if the bolts move a little bit, but they should move together. And that, what I mean by that is, when you put these on, when you put these bolts on for the tension of these, you're going to have the first bolt, when you put it on there, have it pretty snug to the point where it's decently hard, it's pretty hard to move this side to side. Then once you have that on there, you're going to take your second nut and you're going to put it on there. Let's see if I get it on there. You're going to take your second nut and you're going to screw it on there. Now you're going to have it look something like this, which is fine. If you want it to be neat, you could have it be neat, but it really doesn't matter. You can screw them on both together like that. As I said, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so you have your two bolts like this, right in front of each other. So this is what it looks like inside through here. And what you're going to do is, you're going to take your 7/16 wrench and your other 7/16 wrench, and you're going to go against each other, like so. So if I take it, I'm going to go like this. So again, see if I could hold this in there. It's a little difficult to do. So this hand right here, the hand I'm moving my finger with, is going to put pressure downwards, and so is this hand. They're going to be pushing against each other like that. So again, let me kind of loosen that up. When you're tightening it down, this is the movement you're going to make. When you have that nice and tight, what that does is it allows these bolts to move, or it locks these bolts in place, excuse me. It locks these bolts in place so you can freely move this piece right here, the Wilcox adapter, freely without having to worry about this coming loose. The only movement you're going to see with this is going to be the whole bolt slightly moving, and that's one of the reasons why I got the rubber washers, just to cut down on the wear that it would induce on the adapter. So once you have the drill, or once you drill the hole through the one side of the UTG riser, you cut down your bolt, you put the nut and the bolt in there on the bridge, then you put the screw right through there with the rubber washer first, the Wilcox adapter, another rubber washer, and then a metal washer. You put the screws, first screw in, you make it really snug to the point where it's very hard to move this. Then your second screw is going to go right up in the neck, up to that, and then what you're basically doing when you make that movement, make this movement right here when you're tightening it down, what you're doing is you're loosening this, you're tightening the bolts against each other basically. So this one's going to be backing out while this one's trying to go back that way, so that way it locks into place. And as you can see, if I take this, it's going to be pretty difficult for me to take that off. So once you have this together and you're happy with the amount that it takes to move this, you can adjust it. I can make this tighter or looser. I just have to take off the bolts, or loosen up the bolts individually of each other, and then tighten it back up. So once you have that and you're happy with the amount of tension it has, you can go ahead and if you want to, which I suggest, you can cut a notch right here and just take a hacksaw and just cut a notch here and then down that way, so you have this kind of gap right here, so you can bring this closer to your helmet and closer to your eyes. I did it right where you could see this 90-degree, where is that? There it is. This 90-degree piece matches up right there. So, and I'll give you guys some nice close-ups of this real quick. Hold on. Just gotta get the camera to focus. There we go. So, here we have some close-ups of the mount. Just in case you guys, just to help you guys out a bit. Put autofocus back on. So, that's that. Now once you have this all together, you're going to need your adapter. Now you could put this wherever you want on the riser. I slide mine in actually, and I make it stop. The reason I do that, and then of course I can tighten it down. So once this is like this, it's very, very snug on there. It's not going to come off as much as I want to try. And then once this is together, like so. So this is how I have mine. It's not going to come off. I highly, highly doubt it's going to come off if it's just even on the top right here. But again, and then once we have this together, you can slide it on your Armasight Spark core. Take your 1 16" Allen key and screw it down. Screw down the little set screw. It's a little hard to do on camera. Damn it. Almost had it. There we go. Now you can put blue Loctite in there if you really want. Doesn't really make a difference. I don't, considering I use this night vision to record. So once you have it nice and snug, go ahead and give it a test. And it's actually pretty tightly in there. It's rather surprising. So yeah, then you're good to go. You could go ahead and just move this out a bit so you can put it on there. I use the tension so it doesn't move wherever it's at. I have to actually physically move it myself, but it's not to the point where I tug on the helmet so much that it moves. And if you're wondering about this tape right here, I drilled the hole in this piece, but when I'm recording in the daytime, the hole is too big and too much light gets through, so I just made the hole smaller with some tape. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope I helped everyone out. I wanted to remake this video with a bit higher quality, and I hope I accomplished that today. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. Make sure to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and like my Facebook page. It always helps. Tell Armasight you want them to send me a dual tube one of these to review too. That'd be great. But yeah, as always, have a good one.